Welcome, Book Talk enthusiasts, to another exciting episode of Dragons and Spaceships, the podcast where we shine a spotlight on all of the books making waves on Book Talk and beyond. I'm your host, Brandi, and today we are stepping into a story that is equal parts historical fiction, magical realism, and a heartfelt love letter to books themselves. We are talking about The Lost Bookshop by Evie Woods. But before we dive into hidden manuscripts, mysterious bookshops, and a cast of unforgettable characters, let's check out a trending read that Book Talk cannot stop talking about right now. Today's trending pick this week is The Big Empty by Robert Crais. If you love fast-paced thrillers with sharp twists, this one is for you. It's the latest adventure featuring private investigator Elvis Cole and his partner Joe Pike. This time, they're hired by Tracy Beller, a social media influencer who's never stopped searching for her father after he vanished 10 years ago. What starts as a cold missing persons case quickly spirals into something darker. Elvis and Pike are suddenly up against vicious criminals, dangerous secrets, and a trail that blurs the line between predator and prey. Crais has become the master of crime thrillers for decades, and The Big Empty proves why. It's gritty, suspenseful, and full of the kind of morale complexity that keeps you flipping pages late into the night. So if you're looking for something on the darker, twistier side of storytelling, The Big Empty is a fresh release you will not want to miss. All right, let's step back into the world of magical realism with our featured book for today's episode, The Lost Bookshop by Evie Woods. So let's dive deeper into the heart of The Lost Bookshop. At first glance, this is a story about three characters, Opaline, Martha, and Henry. But really, it's about the threads that connect them across generations, all woven together by the power of books. So let's start with Opaline Carlyle. She is living in 1921 London, where her much older brother Lyndon decides her life for her. He arranges a marriage she doesn't want, but Opaline isn't content to be controlled. She sells her most prized possession, a first edition of David Copperfield, and flees to Paris. That decision changes everything. In Paris, she lands at the legendary Shakespeare and Company bookshop run by Sylvia Beach. This was the real-life hub of the lost generation, writers like James Joyce, Hemingway, and Fitzgerald. Through Opaline, we get to step into that world where books weren't just sold, but shared, argued over, and sometimes even smuggled. It's here that Opaline first dreams of uncovering Emily Bronte's rumored second manuscript, a quest that becomes her life's obsession. Her arc is about resilience and survival. She faces betrayal in love with Armand, oppression at the hands of her brother, and even imprisonment in an asylum for nearly 2 decades. And yet she never fully loses hope. Her story highlights how women's voices and lives were often erased, but also how they fought to persevere themselves in whatever way they could. But now let's shift to Martha Winter. In present-day Dublin, Martha is introduced as a woman escaping abuse. She is bruised, scared, and rebuilding her life as a housekeeper. But Martha is no ordinary protagonist. She can read people's pasts and feelings almost like opening the pages of a living book. And she has this strange compulsion where mysterious worlds appear in her head. She tattoos them on her back. Those words, we later learn, are directly tied to Opaline's story and Bronte's lost manuscript. Martha's arc is about rediscovery, finding her worth, her strength, and her voice after years of being silenced. Her magical realism moments, tree roots bursting through her apartment walls, books appearing out of nowhere, mirror her internal growth as her walls literally crack open, and so does her sense of possibility. Then we have Henry Field, a PhD student from England. Henry arrives in Dublin chasing glory. He is obsessed with making a name for himself by finding a lost manuscript mentioned in a letter from the 1920s. He is brilliant, ambitious, and deeply wounded by his father's abuse and alcoholism. At first, he comes across as a bit arrogant, blinded by the prestige of discovery, but his connection with Martha changes him. Through her, he begins to understand that meaning isn't only found in manuscripts, it's found in people. His arc shifts from ambition to authenticity. What's fascinating is how their stories intertwine. Opaline in the past, Martha in the present, and Henry as the bridge. The discovery that Martha's grandmother was actually Opaline's missing daughter ties the timelines together, and Bronte's manuscript becomes more than a piece of literature. It's a thread of legacy, survival, and love passed down through generations. But now let's talk about some themes. First, the power of books. Books aren't just objects in this novel. They are escape routes, treasures, and lifelines. For Opaline, they're her ticket out of a stifling life. For Henry, they're proof of his worth. For Martha, they're a way to reconnect with herself. Evie Woods uses books as both literal and symbolic anchors throughout the story. Second, the search for belonging. Every character is in some way searching for home. Opaline runs from hers, Martha builds a new one, Henry longs for one he never had, and the bookshop itself, that mysterious shop that appears and disappears, is the ultimate metaphor for belonging. It only reveals itself when someone is ready to find it. Then third, we have the human need for love. Romantic, familial, and self-love are all explored. Opaline experiences passion with Armand, betrayal when he abandons her, and healing through her bond with Joseph, the POW she meets later. Martha learns to love herself again after Shane's abuse. Henry learns what it means to love honestly rather than perform for approval. And of course, magical realism permeates it all. The bookshop that appears and vanishes, the tattooed words on Martha's back, tree roots that grow into shelves, these elements aren't explained, they're simply accepted. That's the beauty of magical realism. It's both ordinary and extraordinary, reminding us that the line between the two is thinner than we think. The historical grounding adds depth. The Parisian lost generation gives Opaline's story cultural weight. The Irish asylums reveal real dark histories of women unjustly imprisoned. Even the World War II prisoner of war camp in Ireland is based in fact. German prisoners were really allowed to attend university classes and interact with locals. These details make the novel's magic elements feel more believable by contrast. But finally, let's touch on some symbols. Books, of course, are everywhere. Portals, proof, and inheritance. Tree roots symbolize history breaking into present, reminding us that the past is never truly buried. And family relationships, whether broken, abusive, or healing, symbolize the cycles we inherit and sometimes break free from. By the end, the story circles back beautifully. Martha and Henry discover the truth, reconcile their past, and open the bookshop together. And the Bronte manuscript, still hidden away in an Irish bank vault, waiting like all great stories for its next reader. So yes, The Lost Bookshop is a mystery. Yes, it's a romance. Yes, it's historical fiction. But at its heart, it's a story about survival, the magic of stories themselves, and the way love and literature echo throughout time. And now it is time for the Sorcerer's Scrolls, where we peek into the future and discover an upcoming fantasy release that you will want on your TBR. Today's pick is We Who Will Die by Stasia Stark, the first book in the brand new Empire of Blood series, expected on December 30th, 2025. This is a slow burn romantasy set in a Roman-inspired world ruled by merciless vampires. Think epic combat, vengeful gods, magical creatures, and dark political court where every choice becomes bloodshed and betrayal. This story follows Arvel, who is just trying to survive life in the dangerous Thorn District with her younger brothers. But when a vampire shows up on her doorstep, everything changes. Forced into a magically blinding vow, Arvel must do the impossible: kill the Emperor, an ancient vampire created by the god Umbros. To get close enough, she has to enter the Sundering, a brutal arena where only the strongest survive to become part of the Emperor's elite guard. Along the way, she collides with two powerful figures, the Primus and a mysterious vampire from her past. Fans of Carissa Broadbent, Jasmine Mass, and Rebecca Yarros are already buzzing about this one. Early reviews praise its blend of brutal action, forbidden romance, and a heroine who refuses to break. So if you are craving a story of conspiracies, deadly arenas, and vampires tangled up in destiny and desire, keep your eyes on We Who Will Die, coming soon. Well, that's it for today's episode of Dragons and Spaceships. The Lost Bookshop reminds us that books aren't just stories, they are anchors, bridges, and sometimes even maps to finding ourselves. Whether it's Opaline defying expectations, Martha reclaiming her strength, or Henry learning what really matters, this novel is a beautiful tribute to the power of reading. Have you read The Lost Bookshop yet? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop us a message on social media or share your favorite quotes from the book. Don't forget to comment or message your questions for a chance to be featured in next week's Q&A segment. Until next time, happy reading, stay curious, and may your TBR pile never stop growing.